Hello and welcome. Buying your first home is, well, it's a massive deal, right? But it's not without its challenges. Today, we are going to tackle one of the biggest hurdles out there, stamp duty. And a huge thanks to the experts at ProTax Accountant for arranging this discussion. They wanted to make sure you get the clear, simple answers you need.
Okay, so you've done the hard part. You've saved up that deposit, you've been looking at properties, and you're ready to go. But wait, just when you think you've got all your numbers lined up, there's this other massive cost that can pop up. The real question on everyone's mind is, how much tax are you actually going to pay? Honestly, for so many people, this is the final and sometimes shocking surprise.
All right, first things first, we're going to break down this big hurdle for first-time buyers. Let's get our heads around what stamp duty land tax, or SDLT, really is.
So, what on earth is it? Simply put, it's a tax you pay when you buy property or land in England and Northern Ireland as long as it's over a certain price. And it's not just for houses. It applies to pretty much any purchase. This is often that last really big bill that blindsides people right before they're about to get their keys.
Okay, this is super important. What exactly changed in 2025? Let's dive into the new rules you absolutely have to know about.
So here's a quick look at how we got here. Back in September 2022, the government brought in some temporary relief. Basically, they raised the tax-free amount to get the housing market moving. The catch? It was never meant to be permanent. And now, since April 1st, 2025, that relief is gone and the goalposts have moved back.
And this is the bit that really matters, the bottom line. Before April 2025, you could buy a home up to £425,000 without paying a penny in stamp duty, which was pretty great, right? Well, now, that's been slashed all the way down to £300,000. If you're looking to buy anywhere even remotely expensive, that is a huge, huge change.
Let's put some real numbers on this so you can see what it means for your bank account. Say you're buying a home for £400,000. Because of this change, you're now looking at an extra £5,000 in tax. Just like that, an extra £5,000 you wouldn't have had to pay before. That's a new kitchen, a car, a serious holiday. It's a lot of money you now have to find from somewhere.
So you might be thinking, I'm a first-time buyer. I'm fine. Well, are you sure? Let's check if you're actually eligible for relief, because the rules are a lot stricter than most people realize.
Right, listen up, because this is where a lot of people get caught out. To qualify, you have to have never owned a residential property before. And I mean anywhere, in the world, ever. But here's the real kicker. If you're buying with someone else, say your partner, they also have to be a first-time buyer. If they've owned a flat 10 years ago, even for a short time, boom, you both lose the relief. It really is an all-or-nothing deal.
Okay, let's get into the maths of it. Don't worry, we'll keep it simple. Let's calculate what you might actually owe by breaking down the numbers.
All right, let's imagine you're buying a home for £450,000. Here's how it works. The first £300,000 is completely tax-free, so that's zero. Great start. Then, for the bit of the price that's over £300,000, in this case that's £150,000, you pay 5%. So 5% of £150,000 is £7,500. Add it all up, and your total stamp duty bill is exactly £7,500.
Now, being a first-time buyer definitely helps. As you can see, on that £450,000 house, you're saving a cool £2,500 compared to someone who's owned before. But, and this is a big but, look what happens when the price goes over £500,000. It's like a cliff edge. The relief just vanishes completely. Your saving drops to zero, and your tax bill shoots right up.
And you know what? Where you buy makes a massive difference. It can literally make or break your budget. Take London, for instance. The average first-time buyer there gets hit with a tax bill of around £7,500. Now compare that to the Northeast, where the average first-timer pays, well, nothing. Zero. It's a completely different world depending on your postcode.
So it's not all doom and gloom. What can you actually do about this? Let's talk about some smart and totally legal ways you might be able to reduce that tax bill.
Okay, here's a really clever tip that some people use. HMRC, the tax office, doesn't actually tax what they call fittings. We're talking about things you can remove, like carpets, curtains, or a freestanding fridge. So this couple in Leeds, they were smart. They agreed with the seller to buy £30,000 worth of fittings separately from the house. This lowered the official property price, and that move saved them $1,500 in tax. Now, you absolutely have to run this past your solicitor to make sure it's all done correctly, but it's a great example of thinking outside the box.
Let me tell you about Ailid and Shiabfent from Bristol.
They found their perfect first home for £375,000. The problem? They bought it just after the rules changed. So they were suddenly hit with an unexpected tax bill for £3,750. You know where that money had to come from? Their fund for furniture and decorating. It just meant they had to put their plans on hold for making the house feel like a home. It's such a clear reminder of why you have to plan for this tax right from the very beginning.
Right, let's wrap this up. What are your next steps? We'll go over the key things to remember and, most importantly, where you can get some expert help.
Okay, so here's what you really need to take away from all this. First, that new tax-free limit for first-timers is £300,000. Second, be so careful of that £500,000 cliff edge where the relief just vanishes. Third, if you're buying with someone, make sure you are both genuine first-time buyers. And finally, and this is probably the biggest one, factor stamp duty into your budget right from day one to avoid any nasty surprises.
You see, stamp duty isn't just another tax. It's a huge piece of the home buying puzzle. It can genuinely affect your budget and maybe even the area you can afford to live in. Getting this right could save you thousands, but getting it wrong can be a really expensive mistake. Look, trying to navigate all these rules on your own is tough. That's why getting professional help is so important. The team at Protex Accountant are absolute experts in this stuff. You can get in touch with them directly on WhatsApp or by phone at 07985 689 912, or just drop them an email at info@protexaccountant.co.uk. Honestly, don't leave something this big to chance.